Well, good morning, everybody, and I hope you're excited for a good coffee chat with Virginia and I because it's going to be a good one.
Well, I've been up early. I've already had my hair cut and everything done. And I thought, oh,
Well,
I
you
have
had your haircut the other day, though, right? Because I noticed
huh?
on camera, noticed on camera yesterday that your haircut was cut.
No, it wasn't cut yesterday. I pushed it all back. No, it was just cut this morning at 8 o'clock. Well, quarter till 8. I went over to my
Oh,
hairdresser this morning at quarter till 8, and I was out of here, back out of there at 8:15.
oh, well, okay. Well,
Yeah,
that's cool. For some reason I thought you had your haircut yesterday when we were on
no, because I
camera.
pulled it all back.
Oh,
Now
well,
it is cut. It's short.
I hope everybody has their coffee here.
Well, I have my water today.
It's called coffee chat, though.
Mhm. Well, I've had my coffee at about 6:30 this morning, so I only do about 2 cups a day, so that's why I had water.
Well, I just got out of bed literally like 30 minutes ago, so
Oh, well, I've been up
um,
for a long time.
that's why my hair is a little disheveled. But that's so. I think one of the things we wanted to chat. Well, we will find out a lot of things to chat about. Is I was talking about my friend and I last night. We were just hanging out and we were chatting about a friend of ours that we hadn't seen in a while. And this happened a couple times recently, but this one just kind of threw my friend off. But basically, it was we were chatting about our friend. He had moved to New Jersey several years ago, about 10 years ago, and we had seen another friend, and it was like, "Hey, have you ever heard from James and or seen James?" And our friend was like, "Oh, I don't remember James." And we were just having this long conversation for like 15 minutes about it, and then Keith goes, our friend Keith leaves, and then we turn around, and then James is right there in front of us. And I was telling my friend Justin, the one he was kind of puzzled about it. I was like, well, the cool thing about the universe is what goes around comes around. It
Mhm.
always comes, and there's something there that is trying to show you. And it could be like, you just went through a lot of hard things, and the universe is starting to tell you, hey, remember the good times.
Mhm.
Good morning, Melissa. Good morning, Kimberly. Hope you guys are doing well. Um, so. Yeah. So, and then we were also talking about, living in one moment at a time, one step at a time. So, yeah.
Mhm.
But
Well, I've had an interesting week because I went to Australia 2 days ago. Well, day before yesterday, and I absolutely enjoyed the podcaster, and her name was Lisa Davis, which she's starting a podcast because of she watching me on my video, and she said it inspired her, and she contacted me and she said, I know you probably have too much going on, but I would like you to be the first one on my podcast. And I sent it back to her really fast, and we ended up having a podcast about 3 hours, and we talked about Australia, what happened at Australia. We talked about vaccines, what went on there. I mean, we laid it all out, just what happened. And they were a Pinot colony. And when Australia started, and we were talking, but she said, why didn't they, fight? I said, because they've been so programmed. Because they gave up their guns in 1800s at the very beginning. They gave all their guns up and everything. And I, because that's why she was talking about, but she's also talking about bringing us in to Australia to
mhm.
teach no fear, what love really means and all of that. And she said, we need to have you in. And I thought that would be nice, wouldn't it? Us go to Australia. So, yeah.
Yeah, we've had people that want us to go to Vegas and in Australia, and we're willing to go a lot of places, but people have to help us set it up and
Yeah.
get it set up where we make, enough to where obviously we can afford the trip and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So,
Going in.
um,
Absolutely.
but
Well, I'm going, and also Kelly is going to be in Augusta, Georgia, where we're looking at that one too. So we really do want to come in and meet people. I mean, I would love to meet people, but we've got to have someone that can pick us up and, put us up for a while. I mean, come on. I mean, it takes that kind. I remember when I would stay with people, when I was traveling, people would offer their houses to me so I wouldn't have to pay for a hotel. And I enjoyed sitting at a table with people for the weekend, that I didn't even know. I mean, it's risky. I mean, remember some of the things that would come through. Some people were not exactly who they said they were, and you're sitting in the middle of the weekend. But you know what? It's a great learning process. So yes, I would love to, travel some more on that. But
Well,
if it's
sounds like
meant
we
to
might.
be, it'll be, and it'll be easy. We don't do anything hard.
I think that Michelle is watching too. Michelle Morgan.
Oh, well, tell her hello.
So yeah, so and that's I think that's you said the key thing there is like make it easy, right? And
Yep,
so
absolutely. If
and a
you
lot,
don't, and
and so
it gets really construed if you go in, because we make, that's why we do divine order, divine timing, divine plan, make it easy. We don't get involved in anything else but that, and let the universe of God handle the details, because when we get into the details, we screw everything up,
yeah.
because our minds are too really smaller thoughts, and we have to really raise it up to be expanding. So that's what we said this morning. You said I started expanding myself, and I thought, heck yeah, we need to start expanding our whole beingness, all of us.
So and how that works, guys, is that you start thinking about something that you want to do, and you know whatever it is, you want to go travel more, go to Augusta, Georgia, or Vegas, or Australia, and then you start just expanding your thoughts because your mind will start going into, well, we could do this, we could make this work, and it's almost like this really quick chaotic energy that it starts going into all these different ideas instead of just expanding and saying it will be what it is
Hmm.
and it'll happen in divine timing and divine order. Then what'll happen is the ideas will flow in. How do I say it? They're not ideas, they're more like opportunities. And things will start happening. Like, give me an example. I'm launching my next Spirit Heart cruise. And almost the day that I got it done, the website done, people started calling me. And about being a speaker, and I started talking about it. I haven't made the official announcement. I'll be doing that technically this weekend on the symposium, my online symposium. But the speakers just started coming in, and they're like, "Oh my goodness, we could get this, and I want to bring these amount of people, and all this stuff." And I was just like, "Wow." Of course, I'm acting on the opportunities, and the ideas are kind of falling into place. But it's just kind of cool to watch it unfold, and it's me and my soul and God creating it at the same time. I don't know if that makes any sense. It's just kind of an interesting flow as we're putting it together. It doesn't mean I'm sitting here, in my bed going, well, just put it together for me.
Well, I kind of do that. I mean, I know what I want to do, and I just send it out there. And I said, if it's meant to be, make it easy. And
Well,
and then I let the universe detail it out, because it usually does. I mean, when I said I want something to happen, I just get out of my own way.
yeah,
And
but you still act on opportunities. Like you had to go on Jeff Mara. You
yeah,
had to
well,
actually do the interview. You couldn't just sat in bed and pretended like your picture was or your video was going to be
well,
on camera.
that came in. I wasn't expecting anything like
Yeah.
this ever. You know that I was out there dancing with God, and kind of bored. But that's what I'm saying. When you've got to be careful with what you put out there, because it exactly what came in. It came in, but I didn't expect 6 to 7 thousand emails, and I thought, a few people. And this, we have done these videos. How many years have we been doing these videos? Nobody ever said anything. That's why I gave them my email and my, right there. I thought, oh, 6 people. We, we saw it. 50 people daily coming in from email
Yeah.
daily.
So Michelle just said, "I'm here. I'm working away. 4 more years to retire." Michelle, we missed that that first healers gathering,
That we've
and
talked about that healers gathering, how we did that in 3 weeks.
that
I mean,
was amazing.
that was amazing work. I mean, I could feel the computer. I could feel all the people. I mean, that was what, 3,000 people came for in less than 3 weeks that came in there. I think 1,200, whatever it was, but it was massive. And it was really amazing, 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 amazing work. That was for sure. You could feel it.
Yeah, so let's I want to chat about that because I still haven't really thought about that story a lot until recently. Well, the one we went to in North Carolina a couple of years reminded me of this whole story, but um, I remember my mother had a dream in 2008 that somebody that worked for Indian Affairs was going to take us out to New Mexico to the Indian reservation. She didn't know it was the Navajo reservation or any of that kind of stuff, and um, then I had ran across Michelle as a result of a friend named Carla Goddard,
Hmm.
because they were about or part of a group called the Awesome Women's Hub. And then I noticed that Michelle was connected with you. And I was like, well, that's interesting. How do you tie these two together? Well, maybe Jenny's part of the Awesome Women's Hubs. I don't know. And so I messaged Michelle and she told me the story about her sister and
Hmm.
all that kind of stuff. And I told her the story about what my mom had seen, and and that our name of our ministry was called the Lamplight Group. And Michelle had said, I can't remember exactly how she said it, but there was something that just really clicked. And so she had said she'd always wanted to do this healers gathering. And I think she had mentioned it to you as well. And that part, some of those details aren't very clear with me, but I remember I had started on, my mother had already passed away, and then well, I told my mom that I had met this woman. And mom said, "Well, when I'm better, I want to go out there and I want to meet her because I might want to go work for her." And so I like the Mario Kart shirt too. So um, so we so anyways, I was on tour, and then Michelle had put out the invite. What, the end of July, I think, middle of July,
I don't.
and then within like a few weeks, we were there, and I can't even remember how many people there were. There was a lot of people.
There were a
But
lot.
I've still got I was just looking at the pictures of and a video of Justin and I, and there was a drum circle out there in front of the hospital. So yeah,
Hmm.
thank you, Michelle. I'm sorry, I had to tell that story because that was the whole story about how things in the universe just flows things together,
Well, it was
and
amazing.
then and Michelle
Yeah,
held
I got sick there. That's why I
yeah,
remember.
and Michelle held that energy for I think almost 10 years. It was a
Yes,
long time. So
yes.
thank you for doing that. So
Hmm. I don't know if that ever as big as that one. I mean, I've never seen people from everywhere. I mean, it was amazing. It was really amazing. And what was his name? Rose.
Mead Rose, Mead
Mead
Rose.
Rose. I'm still shocked that he is dead. I didn't realize he died. He was an interesting character. He was very interesting for me.
Sorry. I'm just never gonna forget the day that all of us we were in the back porch of Michelle's porch and and so he starts telling you all the things he does and then all of us, me and Karen and Mandy and Justin and
Everybody
everybody,
left the
we
table.
literally just looked at each other and got up and walked away and left you there.
And he was still talking. And
And
I
we
thought,
were like and I was like, "Nope, not gonna be a part of this."
and then we had a whole conversation. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
well you guys had he was fun. He was fun. You guys well you learned a lot that weekend. Well, we all did. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, and I
But
remember when he turned into Buddha. I stood up out of that kitchen and I said, "You're Buddha!" Like that. Because I saw the gold coming out on the living room and I was in the kitchen and Bonnie was there with me. And that was Michelle's other sister. And it was wild. I mean, that was really, yeah. But what's so amazing is that Michelle and her husband came out of their hospital and brought me what I needed to get back into alignment because I was dehydrated, horribly dehydrated, and very sick. But they came in there and it was like, and I couldn't get to that hospital because I wasn't Indian, and the hospital came to me and I didn't have insurance. So I was taken care of. That's what I'm saying. Those kind of things happened like that when I didn't have insurance or anything like that because I was running on a very small, business and I didn't have a lot of stuff. So I look back at that too. That was, and then Michelle's daughter, sister, Vicky, she's the one that brought me in there in the first place. And that was an incredible time to be with Vicky. So thank you, Michelle, for hearing your sister. So yes.
yeah, that was such an amazing time. But yeah, so that kind of goes into what goes around comes around, and it
Mm.
goes into the one moment at a time, one day at a time. So what that means is that we all go through something, whether it be
Well,
things that make us
yes.
happy or things that stress us out. I was just telling my friend yesterday. I said I'm gonna write a book on um, let the stress in. And she
Mhm.
gave me this look. She gave me this weird look, and I'm like, well, yeah, because no matter what you do, you could go through whatever. You know, you could. Um, well, a lot of times when we go through stress, we try to do something that distracts us from the stress instead of facing the reasons
What's really
why
going
it's there. And so that's still the program. The stress is still running, but you're trying to like kind of just take your focus off of it instead of working through it. It's called
avoid
walking
it.
through.
You
Yeah,
avoid it
avoid
a
it.
lot of times. That's
Yeah,
why people get sick.
yeah,
That's what happened to me with, when we got into that, I got in stress and I got in fear. Not in the fear that people understand. I was just stressed out because of all the people that were calling, getting connected to us. But the things that I had to go through that would irritate me because I'm such I'm a workaholic and I haven't been working like that for a long, long time. And boy, when I had all those people coming in, I was getting up every morning at 3 o'clock just to fill them out, get all the emails done. And we didn't even have a website until what, 3 weeks in.
yeah, yeah. It took a
And it
while,
was
but
just very, it wasn't the same.
Michelle,
Into an alien goat person in front of me, all the stories of our soul activations and angel. Oh, she saw me in an alien goat person.
I mean, I've seen you. There is this I've seen you come into this thing where we'll be so focused in our deep meditation, all of a sudden there'll be this energy that comes out around you, and I'll be able to see your face, but before when you were still blonde, it would your hair would turn like this white,
Mm,
and then almost well you would disappear. Basically, your body would disappear. It would just be your head, and it was all that mist around you,
yeah.
and so um. And it was like one of those movies if you've ever seen where you look up in the sky and there's this angel and all of a sudden you see all this mist around them and all you could see is their face. You know, I don't know if anybody knows what I'm talking about, but it's one of those
It's
things, and
frequency.
I'd be
Yeah,
like,
it's all frequency.
and I just sit there and go, what in the hell?
How does she do that? That's where a lot of people want to come in and they want to do the same thing. I said it takes a lot of work to do that frequency.
Well,
And
and we had at that point in time, we had been, I think, meditating. I'd got there on like a Thursday, and this was like a Saturday morning.
yeah,
So we had spent a good, over a day really relaxing into that and getting, so
when you came here to the house, when
yeah,
you came,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, because let me tell you, we stayed in our pajamas. We don't do anything. We sit in meditation most of the time, or we sit down and write up what we really want and how we're going to do. No, that when I told, well, Daniela, when I said, when you come, I said, don't get dressed up to go out and visit around Kentucky. I said, we're going to be working. And she said, we were in our pajamas all weekend. I said, absolutely. We'd get up and go to bed, or we do, it was constant. We stayed in it constantly. That's
She and
how
I,
you,
she and I talked this morning. She's in Spain, so
yes. So how's she
uh,
doing?
she sounds good. She sounds good. Um, but they made the take the ferry from the Cyprus to Spain, so they were literally the ferry all the way through the Mediterranean Sea. I'm like, that's really rough. Well, speaking of traveling, Michelle was just in New Orleans.
Yes.
Looks like she had a good time. So
Uh-huh.
yeah,
I like
um,
New Orleans.
New
We need
Orleans
to
is
go.
fun.
We need to do something in New Orleans. We need to
Well,
do some of that work in there.
I'm gonna go there in December because I'm gonna drive to Galveston to take the cruise. So
Hmm.
we decided we're going to stop in New Orleans on the way. So if anybody wants to go on the cruise and go on a road trip with us, that would be fun. I looked up the train, but it was $1,700 to take the train. I was like, nope,
From
I'll drive.
Tampa to there,
Yeah, yeah.
you got to be. Who designed that?
I don't
What
know.
in
I
the
guess
world are they thinking?
Amtrak just doesn't want the business, I guess.
No, they don't. I mean, $1,700. That's more than a plane. Jeez, that just blows me away. And
Yeah.
it's a very small track. It's not. Yeah, I think it's very short.
Yeah,
Seven- Well, they're doing the same thing, I think, in Cincinnati. There's going to be one going into somewhere, and it's real expensive too, I think, the train.
yeah, it is what it is. But well, that's kind of like one of the things that we teach guys. We teach about discernment and looking at the energy and stuff like that because everybody's always wanting to know, well, what's the right decision? And so you kind of have to feel the energy. Like we were just talking about with the story about the healers gathering. I mean, there was an energy that you could just feel.
Oh, you could feel it
And
off of
so
the computer.
and
I
that's
mean, that could be like a school of fish just being pushed right at your focus,
right.
and you
And
could
I
feel it. I mean, and we were doing this as fast as we can when you would bring more people in, and Michelle would say, would come and get me, or she'd call you, get us in, and we'll start talking. Oh yeah, it was an incredible time, very incredible time.
yeah, I want to show everybody the real quick. Boy, I'm gonna tell you, as you get older, that I never really believed people about the whole I'm gonna need glasses thing. But yeah, they say the closer you get to 50, you're gonna need glasses. And I'm like, well,
Well,
I don't know.
mine stopped at 40. I think I was 43 years old. Well, maybe, yeah, 43 years old. And I was doing it. I could do my math book before,
Hmm.
and the next day I couldn't. So it was very
So
weird, fast.
we this is the website mydivineinheritance.org, and this is I'll have the latest episode that we're doing right now up in a day or so. There is a 12 module webinar that you can do here at your own pace.
And I send a lot of people there so they can start practicing to do the
Yeah.
webinar and to be in the small groups, as well as the small, not small, but I mean a private session. They have to know that information.
Yeah, and then a lot of people want to do a private session with us, but the truth is that this is probably a better situation because you actually get to spend time with us, and it's literally like right here, at least 5 hours a month with us. And then
Yes.
you get all the recordings, well, even more than that, 7 hours a month because of the
Mhm.
webinar and everything else. And then, of course, there's a free meditation on here. These are different. I gotta update these, but these are the next small groups, and there's just a bunch of stuff on here. There's all of the interviews, which we gotta go through and update. There's a bunch of frequently asked questions that we have with a bunch of free stuff on here, videos of other things that Virginia and I have learned from, just a ton of stuff. So, anyways, I just like to share it every show so that
I
people
do
know where
too,
it's at.
because people don't realize they go through and they just think, and like I was working with a gentleman last night, and he's in total fear, and he can't, he said, I got it. There's things jumping on me. I said, you don't even know what it is. You're so in fear. You can't even understand if it's a message that's coming in. He said, it could be a message. I said, well, yeah, because it's getting your attention. You don't know what you're feeling. You're just going into fear. So he said, yeah, he said, I think he's getting on the webinar.
Yeah. And that's the thing is like a lot of times when we don't understand something, we get scared of it.
Yeah,
And so,
immediately.
and the way
Immediately.
I almost think, especially if it's supernatural type, they're like, oh, it's a demon. I'm like, just because you don't understand it doesn't make it a
It
demon.
doesn't make it.
So,
Well, and it's just basic. Well, because when I started telling him that, he said, why isn't anybody telling me? And I said, well, probably people are trying to tell you, but you're in such fear you can't hear it anyway, no matter what you're saying. So
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of things, but we're here to, definitely here to help and help people understand new new aspects of themselves. And so we've been doing this for quite a long time. So, um, but yeah. So, what's going on this weekend? What do you got going on this weekend?
It won't be football.
I totally forgot about that, and we scheduled the symposium. So the
Right over. Oh my gosh.
we scheduled it in November, so it was like, and we started advertising it at the last symposium, and so I'm like, somebody was like, "Oh, it's Super Bowl this weekend." I was like, I don't even think about that. I was like, "Who's playing?" And they're like,
Taylor Swift. That's
"Oh,
what it is, because that's all
Taylor
they.
Swift."
Yeah, she's might as well be on the football team, because all they're doing is bringing her in because
Oh
she's
yeah,
she's dating some
She-
guy, and I'm thinking, what a joke. Because see, I can't even get involved in that. That reminds me of the Roman circus. Keep them entertained. So
Well,
they're
I
all
mean, when you
in.
think about it, it's like the Roman games, and
We had,
so
well, look at them. Yes, that is. They're getting themselves beat to death on a field, and and then I'll tell you what I've heard, and I've heard it straight out that a lot of it's scripted, and so they already know who's going to win and all of that. And I thought, I agree that 100%. I don't think people realize how much this is all programmed. So
well,
yeah,
I don't know about that, but
well, I
I
do.
do know. So
And
I
when two football players say that they were scripted, that's what that two guys just showed up and they said, we want to tell you what the truth is. They were scripted and they had to follow the script. Now, there you go. That might
well,
get a
I'm
lot of
sure in
people
their
upset.
yeah, I'm sure in their interviews they are somewhat scripted because they have that would be very common for any business where they're scripted.
Well, yeah, they
Um,
were scripted for that, but they were scripted in the football team. That's what he said. We had our game. It says, how wonderful weekend that you have, Palmer. You're going to go get out of bed. Have a lovely. Who
Enjoy,
is,
Kimberly. Have a
who
good
is
weekend. So, um, yeah. Well, I
well,
have
we
the
throw things
symposium.
in there so everybody has to look at something.
Yeah. I have the symposium this weekend, so if anybody wants to go to that, it's free to join, myinnertemple.org, and and it'll be a great weekend, I'm sure. We got Jimbo's coming on in the morning.
Oh, is he
Uh,
going? Oh, okay.
yeah, we did the sound check yesterday, so that should be a lot of fun. He's going to do this sound experience, and so yeah. Um, Anyways, yeah, we just have a couple more minutes of the show. Remember, this is here every Friday morning at 9:30 in the morning, and on Fridays.
Come join
And
us. Have a little
yeah,
coffee with us,
come
and
and hang out with
we
us.
talk
It's
about,
a good way.
throw out a question if you want to, because
Uh,
we do a lot of answering questions.
yeah, we try to be interactive with people making comments, and
Well, that's why
um,
they like our small groups because we're right there with them. And I mean, some were only two or three people in there, and we had a blast for 2 hours.
oh yeah, for
The
two
thing
hours,
about the webinar too.
well, for 2 hours we teach and we help them do energy work. We build a community energy, that kind of stuff, which I think is wonderful. That just I get a lot of out of it, and then help them process things, and they then of course we do a little bit of socializing. And it's kind of cool. We've had people from Singapore,
Oh my
Australia.
gosh,
We
yes.
had one lady getting up at like she would get up at 2 in the morning in Spain time to be able
Yeah.
to come on. It was just it was kind of a cool way to connect with people around the world and do your spiritual work. It's kind of like it's basically like going to a spiritual store or having a
Hmm.
class there, but now it's around the world and it's on Zoom.
Exactly.
So
It's kind of interesting because you don't have to do anything. I don't have. I've been all around the world with all the podcasts too, and I didn't have to go anywhere. No luggage.
um, Michelle, I just flipped on Facebook and saw you live, so I pushed it to open up in the comment. And divine timing,
Yes,
absolutely divine timing, divine
absolutely,
order. So,
definitely. That's
well, we've
exactly.
been doing this now about a
Yeah.
month and a half, something like that, and it's just been kind of fun. We've been talking about a podcast for years where we just sitting here and just having a conversation because this is our normal when we're on the phone, and we'll be like. We'll still talk about things and we'll be both say, well, I don't know about all that. And it's just our conversation,
Mhm.
and we just enjoy that and growing from that. But
Well, our students now that are in our divine inheritance, they all love the fact that we tell them exactly what we're thinking and what we go through ourselves. I mean, I remember one of them kept saying, "You all are so real. You really let us know what it really is like." We've always thought that people like you all, whatever we are, that we, have everything perfect. And I said, "Oh no, absolutely not. We got to go through our own stuff, just like everybody else."
well, Kelly's watching too, by the way. So she said, I was just going to say Augusta, Georgia, and
Yes.
so yeah, and then it was a great way to start my day and weekend. Thank you, Kelly, for being here, and
Mhm.
so well, everybody, you have an amazing weekend, and don't just be still and enjoy every
Enjoy
moment
the
of that
food because there'll be a lot of food going on for the football
for
team.
football and for the
Mhm.
Super Bowl. So,
Enjoy.
all right, everybody, have a good one. Bye bye.